Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today I thought I would talk to you guys all about my hair extensions. I had mentioned in a couple of videos previously that I wear hair extensions, but I've never really gotten into like too much depth on my extensions and kind of like my whole like hair journey or whatever that I've been kind of going through for the past year since I started wearing extensions. So I thought today maybe I would just talk about them. It's not going to be a tutorial, so there's tons of tutorials out there on YouTube that you guys can look for on how to clip in hair extensions and how to, tutorials on like micro ring extensions. Those are the two that I've used, so those are the two I'm going to talk about. So this isn't going to be that kind of video, but I just wanted to kind of give you my thoughts and my kind of experience with them and maybe like some tips and tricks, especially if you're thinking about getting hair extensions or if you have hair extensions and you're wanting to maybe change it up and try something different. This might just give you some, I don't know, just I guess more like some like tips and tricks on how to like really make your hair extensions really work for you, the pros and the cons and all that kind of stuff. So a little bit of background. So I wear hair extensions, as I've mentioned, and I started wearing hair extensions about 1 year ago. Before that, so I don't really have thinning hair. I just have very fine hair. So my hair is, it's fine. I mean, most people when I'm not wearing extensions are just like, oh, she's got nice hair. I mean, something special, but whatever. But so I'm not wearing them for that reason, but I do love having really big, voluminous, like full, like big hair. That's just always been my thing. And so what I was doing before I ever started wearing extensions is I was backcombing my hair a lot. And I don't know if you guys would probably remember, but back when Adele did that signature ponytail of hers that she would do where she'd have like that poof and then she would like wear a ponytail. I loved that look and I was doing that a lot with my hair. So I was backcombing and teasing it a lot and doing a lot of stuff to it that just was really like damaging it and not very good for it. And so since my hair was already, in my opinion, so damaged anyway, I was like, well, why don't I just like look into extensions? Because then I won't need to, I can have longer hair, I can have fuller hair, and I won't have to do that kind of stuff to it. So I started looking into, like the first thing I ever did was I bought clip-ins. And I tried to match my color perfectly, and then I put them in and, they worked. I wasn't too, thrilled with like how they blended. I didn't think they blended into my hair perfectly. So I was always like kind of self-conscious about that. And so after wearing clip-ins for about a month, I started like really like doing my research and looking into different types of hair extensions. And I decided to go ahead with micro rings. So I made an appointment. I found a hairdresser here that would do it. I did a lot of like calling around and I realized it was going to be super expensive because it is very, very expensive and pricey. Because not only are you paying for the hair, but you're paying for the install. And then of course it only really lasts about 8 weeks and then you have to get it redone again. So, but I was willing to give it a try. I was committed. I was like, this is what I want to do. So when I first got them, so micro ring hair extensions, just to kind of explain how they work, is you've got like, I've got some here actually, because I took all my hair out when I went to the hairdresser the other day. But this is what they look like. This is all my old hair, because I'm not wearing them anymore. But this is what they look like. And they're just like these tiny little like eye tips. And then there's like a little strand of, and so it's like strand by strand, like actually attached to your hair. And this little tip is made out of, like it's keratin, I believe, is one of the main properties of it, which is also in human hair. So it melts down. So you do like, after you can melt them down and then kind of like squeeze them together and you want to get the tip really tight. And then it fits through a little ring, like the ring is attached to a small little strand of your own hair. So like a little strand like this, a tiny little like metal ring slips onto this piece and then the eye tip sticks inside and then you clamp it down with a pair of pliers. And you're doing that basically 150 to 200 times all over your hair, your head. It's not something I recommend that you do yourself because it's probably near impossible to do yourself. I used to always remove my micro rings myself before I would get them put back in. And that in itself, just taking them out, would take me like 4 hours in front of the TV. Like I would just like watch something, or I would like watch YouTube or whatever I would do. And I would be taking my hair out like all night long before my appointment. Because if you go to the hairdresser to also have the micro rings taken out and then put back in, you're paying for that time as well. So it can get really, really expensive. So just to give you an idea, the hair itself, about 200 strands, which would work on my whole head. Well, that's a little bit. I didn't necessarily always use 200. So between 100 and 200 is what you would use. I would say you're paying probably upwards of around $300, $350 for the hair itself. And then the hairdresser that I went to charged $169 an hour for the install. And the install would take usually around 2 hours. Sometimes we got it down to an hour and a half. So you're looking at a lot every 8 weeks. I mean, you're not replacing the hair every 8 weeks. The hair that I had would usually last me maybe 3 installs. It wasn't the greatest hair. I was buying the hair from the salon, and I don't find it to be the greatest hair. This is the hair that I just took out. This is after 3 installs, and I've just given this before I went back to the hairdresser on Saturday, when I decided totally to change my mind and not put the micro rings back in, but I had gotten them all ready to go again. So after taking them out, this is a lot of work. After taking them all out, I washed them all. And then I gave them, I like basically gave them a coconut oil treatment. So I let them sit in I just like slathered them in coconut oil and let them sit like that all night long to kind of get them healthy again. But if you can see, I mean, the tips are not that, they're not looking that great anymore. And this hair, because it's been used so many times already, it's definitely gotten, like it tangles easier and everything else. So it's not, I mean, after 3 or 4 times of using this hair, it's like it's done. It's like you may as well just get new hair. So some of the pros to the micro rings though is they're there. So basically you wake up in the morning, you don't have to worry. You just get up and go. Like you can, throw your hair up in a bun, because really they're all kind of like sporadically placed, like all underneath and not ever around your hairline or near the crown. So, I mean, you can still tie your hair up in a ponytail. You can do, all the videos that you guys have seen with me, aside from the last one that you saw, I had micro rings in my hair the whole time, and you probably couldn't tell. But you can do anything with your hair. You can wear it down, you can wear it up, you can, you have a lot of options. The other thing that probably is not the greatest though is, good and bad, is that you really can't wash your hair very often. So I was only washing my hair maybe once a week. So I was using a lot of dry shampoo. It was getting, my hair was just taking its toll on my hair. The rings that are attached to the actual hair is actually also attached to your hair. And I actually have one. They sometimes fall out. So I have this one that I found where the ring is still attached to it. And as you can see, there's like some hairs coming out the tip, which probably is some of it is my natural hair, that when they fall out, some of that comes with it, which also isn't very good. So you can, if you're not careful with it, and if you aren't careful when you're brushing it and things like that, you can rip your own hair out, which is not ideal, especially when you're wearing extensions because you want more hair. So basically, I guess for myself, I felt this time that I wanted to give my hair a break. I didn't really notice a lot of breakage, a little bit, but not that much, but I just wanted to give it a break. So I decided to go back to using clip-ins. But this time what I did is I brought my clip-ins to my hairdresser, and she actually put them in and then cut them, and like blended them into my hair. Now I don't wear extensions for length. I wear it for volume. So here you can see if you see any kind of color difference, oh, in the light, you can kind of see it. Those are the extensions. I was actually going to dye them to kind of match them up totally with my own hair, but I kind of like how they look because it kind of gives a different, it's kind of like an underneath kind of highlight. So I kind of actually like how they look. So I might just leave them this reddish color. But there you can kind of see one of them that's clipped in, and then the color difference. So the reason I decided to go back to the clip-ins, I guess, is just to give my hair a break. It is going to be a little bit more work because I'm going to have to put them in myself, you know, whenever I want to wear them. But it also allows me to, you know, take care of my natural hair a little bit better and, you know, do some more like deep conditioning and try to get it healthier again. One of the advantages that I have, why I think extensions work really well with me, is because the majority of my hair is all on top of my head, like the thickest part. So I'm not thinning, and like on top of my head, all of my hair up here is actually quite thick and full. So it manages to cover the extensions really well. If you're, I think, thinning on top, I think it will be a lot harder to mask your extensions because you need all this hair on top to cover all the clips or to cover the micro rings or whatever it is that you're using. So that's one of the advantages. The other thing is because I wear it, you know, for volume as opposed to length, you're not seeing that big difference of where my hair stops and the extensions start, because really my hair is the exact same length as the extensions. So it blends a lot easier. So if you're using it for volume, I recommend growing your hair, your natural hair, and then using your extensions and blending them in. I mean, your extensions can be a little bit longer than your natural hair, but if you're wearing your extensions for length, you have to, it's a lot harder to blend them in. So it's a great idea to go to your, that's one thing I realized is on Saturday when I went and actually had her cut the extensions and blend them into my hair, there was such a big difference. Like now when I wear them and when I put them in, like I feel comfortable. Like I don't feel like, and you just can't tell. Like you cannot tell that there are extensions in my hair anywhere. I mean, unless I were to lift it and actually show you, but even with the color difference, I mean, it just looks like a highlight. And that is what I really love about these extensions and actually having them cut to my hair, and so that they just blend in really well. So I don't know. I might go back to wearing micro rings again just because it is a lot easier and get up in the morning and it's just go. Like, you know, I would always just throw my hair up into a ponytail or into like a high bun, take a shower, and then I would, you know, take it down and I would brush through it a little bit and I would like use dry shampoo or whatever I would use, and then either clip it back or throw it up or do whatever I did with it. It was easy to, and I was really used to that. Now it's going to be, I mean, the clip-ins don't really, I have slept on them before though, so I must say that if you're careful and you clip them in really well, you can sleep on them, just tie them back and sleep on them, and the next day they might still be totally fine and you might be able to go. But I mean, you can't really do that more than like, I'd say 2-3 days at the most. And then you have to, you know, remove them and put them back in. So it is a little bit more work. But if you do it right, and if you learn how to actually clip them in properly, you can really, you can make it work. So I'm gonna work with it for the next little bit and see how I like it. And I'm gonna just, you know, my scalp just needed a break. I mean, those metal beads sitting so close to your scalp, for the past year of my life has just been like, I was just done with it. Like I was done with, because it can be painful, especially after you first get them in. They do loosen after a little while, but, you know, that feeling of always having those metal beads everywhere, I was finally just done with it. I was like, okay, my scalp needs to breathe and I just need to, you know, get back to taking care of my natural hair and just properly conditioning it and washing it, because that's the other thing is when you wear micro rings, you can never put conditioner on the bead or near the bead. So when you do wash your hair, you have to use a sulfate-free shampoo, which is good for your hair anyway, but then you can't, you could apply conditioner only to the ends. You can never apply conditioner to the scalp. So that's the other thing, is that your hair is constantly lacking that conditioning that, you know, that you want to do near the scalp or whatever else. So I don't know. I did like them. And you know, a lot of people like them. There's pros and cons to both the clip-ins and the micro rings. I think the clip-ins, it's like, it can be, you know, it's more work every day to put them in. But they stay healthy longer because they are removable. You really don't need to wash them very often, especially if you're removing them all the time. And the quality I find of these clip-ins, especially that I have, and like I said, I've had these since last year. I only wore them for about a month, and then I started wearing micro rings, so I didn't wear them after that. But the quality of this hair is just exceptional. Like, it is so, I'll put a link down below where I got them. I got them from Estelle's Secret online, and they were not very expensive either. So the quality is really, really good. So I think they'll last me a really long time. And yeah, you also have more versatility with clip-ins. I mean, you can get different kinds and then wear, you know, change it up as you want, you know, like change the color, change the length, change the whatever. So yeah, so I hope this video wasn't totally all over the place, and maybe you learned something you didn't know before. If you have any other questions for me on hair extensions or how they work, just leave them down below. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I will talk to you guys all again very, very soon.